This feels like something only dreamt about, right? One of the playable bosses in the game is now a 7-star champion, and I have them at rank 3, which is the current highest level for any champion in this game. Now, Maestro is so cool, obviously. He is like a Hulk, but 1,000 times cooler, and like lore-wise, 1,000 times stronger as well. But in game, maybe not really the case. However, this guy is still a really cool champion, despite him not having the best damage output out there. But let's talk about his abilities for a second. So, the Maestro's finally here, and yeah, he is a defender. Honestly, it kind of makes sense when you think about it, because younger Maestro is the very powerful attacker, but older Maestro, he's kind of getting old. He's kind of like not in his prime, so he won't hit as hard as him, but he's still very, very annoying. So he has access to cosmic radiation, pierce, glancing, energy damage on block, and then one of the highest health pools in the game. So you pair all these things together and you have a very annoying champion. And additionally, you can't neutralize him. If you nullify him, that just makes him stronger, and he just is really hard to stop, right? Of course, there are counters to him, like Soul Barb especially, but for now, he is just a pretty painful defender. And he is not just a defender, right? He does have some utility to use on attack, because he is poison, shock, and incinerate immune, which is a very strong kit right there. 3 immunities is kind of crazy for a champion. Additionally, he has access to Pierce, and Pierce is really good for countering future Ant-Man, because whenever there is a Pierce active on you, future Ant-Man can't glance. So he will have a very fun time with him, especially because he has ultimate class advantage. So against tech characters, he kind of just becomes supercharged and gets a massive attack rating increase. So yeah, those tech champions are not safe against him. Additionally, he does have access to glancing, and while it's for defense, it's also good on attack because it just mitigates a ton of block damage, and additionally, it can just straight up turn off abilities. So yeah, it is pretty dang sweet, man. And also, he's Maestro. He is a final boss character that is playable now. How is that like not the coolest thing ever? I just really love that he is a trophy champion that isn't for money, so you can get him yourself if you really put in the work to get him, and I did just that. So now he's rank 3, and now let's show some gameplay of this final boss that is now playable. So Maestro is very, very easy to play. You want to just build up your Neutronium by doing medium ending combos, and once you're at 40, you want to drop the SP2, then spam the SP1 to do some pretty nice energy damage. And that is it. That is how simple he is to play. He is very straightforward, so that's pretty cool, because some champions are a bit too complicated, right? But Maestro is very straightforward, so that is a bonus sometimes, and I feel like for Maestro it definitely is pretty helpful. So here we drop the SP2, a nice 15,000 crit there. We go back in, we drop a combo into the relic, then we drop the SP1, and now this matchup is over. So that wasn't bad at all, like 43 seconds for 200,000 health, and that was just the start of the rotation. But now we have the ultimate class advantage here, and in this fight, Maestro gains a lot of extra attack rating, and this attack rating makes the fight a lot faster than it usually is for Maestro. And right off the bat here, like 9,000 mediums, which is a massive upgrade from his base medium attacks. So the ultimate class advantage really does show itself, but now it's time to start doing our damage. So let's enter Superior Rage here, then drop the SP2 and see what the damage looks like. So not too many crits, unfortunately, but we can just get the SP1 going. So here I drop the relic, then I drop the SP1, and the energy damage is doing some pretty nice numbers. 11,000 per hit there, so like 66,000 in total. Definitely not bad. Then we can just go back in and repeat that, and then the fight will be over. So not too shabby overall, man. Against these tech characters, he does get a pretty nice damage bump, and we can just drop one more SP1, and now the fight is dealt with. Not too shabby overall. With that class advantage being super enhanced, it does lead to some very nice fight times against those tech characters. And with his Pierce to counter future Ant-Man, with his very good immunity set, I feel like he will be a very strong tech counter, and like that is his role as an attacker, if he does have one anyway. But yeah, now we have this glancing showcase. So check out this glancing mechanic, man. It is very, very good because it just shuts off ability straight up. He hit our block, right? And we have Bubble Shield as a node here, and we just don't care about it. We just do not take the Bubble Shield blocks. However, we do take it there because he cannot glance on special attacks. So that is one downside to him, but also it makes him a lot more tolerable on defense. But now it's SP1 time. I can just drop it right here, get some pretty nice red numbers going, and then rinse and repeat this until my Furies fall off. Now, whenever Maestro is awakened, he refreshes his Fury buffs after every special attack. So it is a pretty nice awakened ability for attack, but it's not too necessary, right? And here he's doing some very nice energy damage per hit, and we can just go back in, drop one more SP1, and this matchup is now over. So he mitigated the poison damage because he's just straight up immune, and we also invalidated the bubble shield as well. Very nice stuff there, but now we have this kinetic transference fight, and this fight can be annoying with the power gain. However, Maestro just doesn't care because once he has a glancing up, then kinetic transference is just completely shut off. So glancing does have its uses for sure, and I feel like it is a very underrated attack ability because it counters kinetic transference, it counters any champion that punishes your block. It's just a very strong ability overall, and on defense especially, it is just the absolute worst. I feel like on defense, it is the most annoying mechanic in the game by far. But yeah, it makes sense that he's a defender if he has glancing, that's all I'm saying. But now we're in rage, so it's time to just drop the SP1s, and the damage output is going to be pretty nice here. 9,000 mediums, not the best for a rank 3 7-star obviously, but it still is enough to just survive here. And look at that, we just glanced 3 hits straight up and they did pretty much 0 damage. And if they did damage, then Maestro doesn't care because he has over 90,000 health as a rank 3 7-star. This man is pretty much impossible to take down unless you really mess up, which, you know, I might do obviously, but still, just so much health to play around with, plus the glancing, and you have an absolute beast of a tank champion. But also, whenever he is immune to something, he gets supercharged because whenever he triggers an immunity, he gains bonus neutronium, and that just makes the ramp a lot faster, and it makes him a lot, you know, better on attack. Might not be a high bar, but it's still something at least, right? But now we're in rotation time, so we can just drop the SP2 and then get started with the SP1s. So here she drops the SP1, no big deal. I go back in, not critting at all unfortunately because his crit rate is kind of abysmal, which stinks, but it is what it is. That's why I have this relic active on him. But now I drop the SP1 myself, do some pretty nice energy damage right there, go back in, drop a combo, then drop the SP1 in a bit here, and now we are just kind of chilling. So here we drop it, some more nice energy damage, and this is essentially a wrap now after that SP2. There we go. The fight is now done. So Maestro might not be the hardest hitting champion, and that is very generous to say of me, but he has a lot of utility. He has a lot of defensive prowess as well. So he is a good rank up obviously because he will cause you problems on Alliance War defense, on Battlegrounds defense, and hey, even against like tech champions with that ultimate class advantage, he should do pretty good in like a battleground scenario. So this champion, definitely worth ranking up, definitely has a use in this game as a very annoying defender. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on Maestro, and yeah, that's about it for me.